Okay, welcome everyone to today's a16z crypto research seminar. Very pleased to welcome back Ehud Shapiro, professor at Weizmann. Yesterday, he told me something about himself, which I didn't know, but was not very surprised to hear, which is that every project he's taken since he was in high school, he was immediately told was far too ambitious. Sometimes it turns out maybe that means that you're onto something, but I think you'll also see that reflected in his talk today about grassroots cryptocurrencies. So all yours, Udi.
Thank you. So we're going to start. Actually, this is a cartoon from The Economist for 2-3 weeks ago when Threads was started. So let me read it in case it's too small. In a desperate search for a better tomorrow, millions of migrants from around the world are taking the daunting leap from Elon Musk's pocket to Mark Zuckerberg's. Okay, so that's a good advertisement for my talk. But the actual title is Grassroots Cryptocurrencies, a foundation for grassroots digital economy. And if we take a look at the digital realm today, what we mostly see is red. Autocracies, client-server, cloud-based systems, where one person controls them, or a small group of people. Facebook, YouTube, WeChat, Airbnb, Amazon Marketplace, etc. Up-and-coming cryptocurrencies who aim to change this power structure for the better, as Tim keeps insisting, and I agree, for the better, so that not a single person controls the platform, but its control is distributed. But if you look at the underlying architecture of the existing platforms, Bitcoin, Ethereum, essentially all these technologies, they're all what's called in social sciences or political sciences plutocracies. And I'm using this term as an objective descriptor, not as a derogatory term. It's an objective descriptor of control is divided according to the amount of stake or currency or wealth that you have. In proof of work, this wealth is translated into how many computer racks you can buy and operate, and how many coal mines do you own, and power stations, etc. In Ethereum, where proof of stake, it's directly the how much money how much Ethereum you own, which allows you to participate more broadly in proof of stake protocols. And if we look for democracies that operate on a democratic platform, actually, to the best of my knowledge, we don't find any. Okay, so that's why it should be infinitely small, but I cannot draw it, so it's just small with a question mark. So, as I said, the overambitious long-term vision of our research is to have an egalitarian digital society, and the goal or the way to achieve that is to find egalitarian alternatives to global digital platforms, which are today not egalitarian. And the means that we offer to achieve that goal is a new architecture for the digital realm. So I'm going to, what I describe is in this talk will be something that came up along this overall research. And I should say that this work has been going on for more or less 7 years in my research group at the Weizmann Institute, starting with Nimrod Talmon, who was a postdoc at Weizmann at the time, and he taught me everything I know about social choice theory. And then other postdocs and PhD students and colleagues around the world, which we have written paper that read. And this is sort of the proposed architecture that came up as a result. I will not spend too much time on this right now. Maybe if there's time for questions or if I don't exhaust all the time of the talk talking about cryptocurrencies, I can talk some more. But what I want to point your attention is to this part, grassroots dissemination and equivocation exclusion, and that grassroots cryptocurrencies are sitting on top of that. So the blue part is the protocol or protocol stack, and whatever color it is, brown or whatever, these are the applications. And what you can see, what I spoke about last year, those who were here, is about a consensus protocol, which actually involves these three layers. For consensus, you need dissemination, equivocation, exclusion, and ordering. All these tasks you need to achieve, and on top of that, then you achieve consensus. Here in this protocol stack, they're separated into different layers of the protocol because you don't need all of those to do, for example, social networking. There's a paper just came out. Everything I talk about is on the archive, by the way. So, and I will share this PDF. So these are live links. You can go to these papers later if you're interested. So if what you want is social networking, it's enough to have dissemination. You don't need equivocation, exclusion, or ordering. And there's a fairly old result by Rashid Gouario, maybe 10 years old, that if all you want is a payment system, you also don't need full consensus. It's enough to have equivocation exclusion. And you can have a payment system on top of these two. So grassroots cryptocurrencies actually don't sit on top of consensus, but sit on top of these two layers. And my focus will be on grassroots cryptocurrencies. Now, I've used the word grassroots like already 20 times. So what is grassroots? We know about it from social sciences, political sciences. Grassroots movements are movements that come up from the people, from below, from the grassroots. So it's a well-known term in social sciences. In computer science, as far as I know, it has not been used before. And we use it to describe systems of this property. Actually, there's a formal definition in this paper. This formal definition, which is short, but it takes about 15 pages of definitions for this to make sense, so I will not get into this. We'll settle with a less formal definition. A distributed system is grassroots if it can have autonomous and independently deployed, independent deployments, okay, in different places over time that can interoperate once interconnected. So it has two requirements. First of all, it can start independently in multiple places, once here, once here. We can start our own little grassroots protocol or system, and others can start it in the next floor and independently. But if for some reason we interconnect, we can interoperate. Okay? So these are two requirements: independence, but also interoperability. Let me say that all the systems you know are not grassroots. Client-server systems are not grassroots because you cannot have two Facebooks, operating. Let alone interacting once they find each other. You cannot have also two Bitcoins interoperating. The Bitcoin depends on global resources, on global addresses, seed miners or root miners, boot nodes, Ethereum as well. They have global port numbers. So you cannot have two Ethereums working, independently and then discovering each other and interoperating. Neither of these can happen. So why is this interesting? Well, because we believe that grassroots systems are possible. And actually, the first example, let me go back. The first example, or simplest example of grassroots system is grassroots social network. So let me give you the feel of it. First of all, it runs on smartphones. Okay, no servers, no global addresses, no nothing. Smartphones talking to each other. So we can start with a grassroots social networking protocol. We can start our own little group here. Just our smartphones talking to each other, and some other people can start it there, and we can go forever and ever and ever, ignoring everyone else. If we don't care about other people, we can run forever independently. But if maybe someone is a member of this group and that group, then the groups can interact. Maybe if I'm a member of this other group, I can transfer messages from here and there. So there are new behaviors as a result of interoperation between groups. So, and the paper on grassroots social networking describes it, and the claim I'm making, I will not prove it in this talk, but you'll get the feeling, is that the form of cryptocurrencies I'm proposing is also formally a grassroots system. You can have different groups running it here and different groups running it there, and later interoperate. And actually, this goes back, the goal of grassroots cryptocurrencies is to provide for a grassroots digital economy. So what is that? Okay. We know what is digital, we know what is economy, so what do we mean by grassroots digital economy? It's a variant of the formal definition. It's a digital, so it's a system. You can have independent digital economies that form and grow without external capital or credit, so we can start here, start there. We don't need outside resources, global resources. We don't need other people's money. We don't need bank credit. We can start it independently. But if two economies touch each other, they can interoperate. So if Rothschild has a son here and a son there, then he can cause some trade or interaction between different hitherto independent economies. Okay? And grassroots cryptocurrencies aim to provide a foundation for that, for grassroots digital economy. So that's the goal of grassroots cryptocurrencies. Okay, so what are grassroots cryptocurrencies? First, let me quote Yuval Noah Harari. a colleague from Hebrew University. Money is the most universal and most efficient system of mutual trust ever devised. And so grassroots cryptocurrencies can be summarized in one sentence as a means for digital means for turning mutual trust into liquidity. That's what they do. If a community has mutual trust, it can become liquid. Without external capital, without external credit, without external money, we can achieve liquidity among us that will allow us to trade and operate an economy without external resources. Just by magic, turn mutual trust into liquidity. So what is a grassroots coin? Actually, I brought some with me. So here are grassroots coins, okay? Grassroots coin is an IOU that can be issued and traded by anyone, any person, corporation, bank, city, state, federal, whatever. So here are grassroots coins. It says IOU1, and I'm going to invite my volunteers to own and operate their grassroots currencies. So please, we have 4 volunteers, if you can sit here. Okay, so you get a choice. Which color you prefer? Blue. Okay, and you? Okay, and you? By the way, the reason I'm doing this is I've given many, many talks about sovereign grassroots cryptocurrencies. They were called sovereign before, and I always failed to explain them. It's so simple and yet so perplexing that I never succeeded. The first time I succeeded was in Harvard 2 weeks ago, and I actually used this experiment with Ariel Procacia's students, and it worked, so that's how I'm explaining grassroots cryptocurrencies. Okay, so each of you has their own cryptocurrency. If you can take one and stick it like this so we know which color you are. So these are IOUs. So that's all what grassroots cryptocurrencies are, IOUs, okay? And there's one principle only in grassroots cryptocurrencies: honor your IOUs. That's the only principle, and I'll explain what it means. But in addition to these principles, there are conventions. So let's go to the conventions. There are actually 3 conventions regarding minting, pricing, and exchange. And the first convention is minting. You can issue coins at your discretion. So each of you can issue as many coins as you want. And actually, you have here lots of coins, lots of blue coins. And so anybody has as many IOUs as they want. That's the first principle. The second principle is pricing. Everybody prices their goods and services in terms of their own coins. Okay? So I didn't want you to volunteer to bring goods and services, so I did it myself. Okay, so you're the proud owner of 2 bananas. Okay? And Naomi has 2 apples. Okay? And Eliza has 3 apples. Okay, so there's no monopoly here. Both have not. Okay. And Nusret is the luckiest of them all. He has lots of snacks. Okay. Okay. One more. Okay. So now, each of you.
You're not allowed to eat until after.
Okay. So now each of you has sovereign cryptocurrencies and has goods and services they can offer. And the question is pricing. So to speed up, I will tell you what you would have priced them. Okay. So let's say you price your bananas for 2 Mahimna coins. So these are Mahimna coins, right? So you price your bananas for every banana for 2 Mahimna coins, and you price your apples for 3 Naomi coins, and you price your apples for 2 Eliza coins. Okay, so you price them lower. Anybody can choose. Anybody can price their goods and services as they wish, and you price your snacks for one Nusret coin. Okay, fine. That's the second convention. The third convention is exchange. You create mutual line of credit. That's how liquidity comes out of thin air. By coin exchange among people that you know and trust. Okay, so they all know each other. You've been here around for how long?
10.5 weeks.
10.5 weeks. Okay, so you know each other, you trust, you don't think that they will cheat. Okay, so now you're going to create liquidity. Everyone will exchange 5 coins with the person next to him. So you give 5 coins to Naomi, and she gives you 5 Naomi coins. And you also give Eliza, and Eliza gives 5 coins, and you give 5 coins to Naomi and 5 coins to Nusret. Okay? So now we get liquidity. Now it's important that you place the coins that you own here on the table, because you own 2 things now. You own bananas. Mahimna owns bananas, and he also owns 5 Naomi coins. So he owns two types of things. Okay, so you have 5 Naomi coins, and you own. Okay, fine. So you see that everybody here owns both real assets and digital assets. Okay, fine. So let's trade. Okay, so let's say you want to buy an apple from Naomi. How much did we say you price? 3. Okay, so if you want to buy an apple from Naomi, what do you have to do?
Pay her 3 Naomi coins.
Naomi coins. You cannot buy it with your own coins. You can buy it only with Naomi coins because she priced it in Naomi coins. Okay, so let's do a trade. Okay. Okay, so now you have 3 less Naomi coins, and you have an apple and 2 bananas. Okay, and if you want to buy a snack from Nusret, then what do?
Just one.
Yeah.
One, which coin? Nusret coin. Okay, we got it. Okay, so we've seen trade. Okay, now let's say you want to buy a snack too. These fruits are not for you. So how can you get a snack from Nusret?
Who has Nusret coins? I don't know. I do like a.
Well,
kind of
at present,
trade like
you
that.
can't because we didn't say how much people price their coins. Okay, so without some further machinery, you can buy only from people who have their coins. Okay, so now comes the one and only principle, the only protocol. That's the beginning and the end of the protocol of grassroots cryptocurrencies is called redemption. Everybody is obliged to redeem any coin issued by oneself against any coin held by oneself. The principle of grassroots crypto, the only principle is honor your IOUs. And the way you honor your IOUs, now you have you have an Eliza coin, right? So it's an IOU from Eliza to you. Now, the way Eliza honors their IOUs to you is by offering any coin it holds to you at a 1-to-1 exchange rate. That's the only thing in the protocol, okay? 1-to-1 exchange rate, okay? So you can buy an IOU, you can buy a coin that Eliza holds using an Eliza coin, any coin you want. So let's say for you it's more complicated, we'll get there. Now you can buy a snack from Nusret, but how? You buy a Nusret coin from Eliza, you redeem an Eliza coin, and now you can buy a snack from a Nusret. Okay, we did it. Okay, so that's redemption. Any questions until now?
So you kind of assume honest parties, no?
Say it again?
Or how do you enforce this behavior? Or do you assume honest parties?
Exactly like in Bitcoin. You have police with guns that point at the miners. That's how you do it in Bitcoin, right? Oh, no, forget. Through other means. We'll get there.
Why is it 1 for 1 coin rather than a market?
We'll get to market later. But as I said, the protocol has one line. Begin. Exchange, offer to sell any coin that you hold against any coin that you issued for a 1-to-1. End protocol. That's the protocol. It's the protocol. We'll see why this protocol works and the implications and market value and all that. But let's agree that there is a protocol and this is it. There's nothing else in the protocol. Okay? Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, for the redemption, is it a requirement like that I must do the swap or like I can engage in this?
You must. It's basically, think about it, is Mahimna is offering for sale an apple, 2 bananas, and Naomi's coins. He's committed, when you offer to sell, when you have a price list, you say, I will sell to anybody who comes an apple for 2 Mahimna coins, a banana for whatever we said, and any other coin I own at this point, I will sell for my 1 Mahimna coin. That's the one and only commitment of the protocol. So basically, you offer to sell goods, services, and any coins that you own at present, okay? Coin redemption provides for, first of all, fungibility of coins. Because Mahimna can always exchange a Naomi coin against another Naomi coin. Okay, if the coin, he doesn't like it, it's torn, it's, whatever. So you can say, okay, I don't like your coin, give me a fresh new coin. Like in a bank, banknotes get rotten, then you exchange them. So they're fungible in this sense. Each is unique, like in the US, every dollar has a number. So digitally, each coin is unique, but they're fungible. First of all, equivocations. We can't see equivocations here. We could have torn the coin into two and sent them, but I will skip that part. But if Mahimna got a Naomi coin from someone, okay, and he's not sure it's a good coin, it's a bad coin, so before he gives the Ferrari to the guy who gave him a Naomi coin, you say, okay, Naomi, is this a good coin? Redeem it for a fresh new coin. And if this coin has already been redeemed, Naomi will say, no, it's a bad coin. It's a duplicate. It's not my IOU. I've already redeemed this IOU, and this has been double spent. I will not redeem it for you, and therefore Mahimna will not give his Ferrari because he got a bad coin, a bad Naomi coin. Okay? So redemption can be used to prevent or resolve double spends. Chain payments. Okay, so here we see chain payments. Now, if you want to buy a snack, then you can ask Naomi, your friend, Naomi, can you get for me a Nusret coin? And Naomi is a friend of Eliza, so she can redeem a Nusret coin from Eliza. And now you can redeem, no, not yet. You have to redeem. You have a Naomi coin, right? You can redeem a Nusret coin from Naomi. Okay, and now you have a Nusret coin. And now you can buy, even though Nusret is not your friend, he doesn't know you, whatever it is, theoretically, I know that practically is your friend, but theoretically, let's say he's not your friend, you can now, through chain redemption, you have a Nusret coin, and you can buy from Nusret a snack. So, okay, let's do that. Okay, so we can have long chain transactions and whatever. Oh, you can give them. You don't want to be exposed, which one you prefer. Okay, so chain payments, so that the effect of everything is that mutually liquid currencies are pegged at a one-to-one exchange rate. Okay? The end result of all these token assumptions and this one single rule is that if there is mutual liquidity between Mahimna and Nusret through Naomi and Eliza, the currencies are pegged to each other one-to-one. Why? Because if Nusret is going to say, I'm valuing my currency at $3, and Mahimna is valuing his currency at $1 per currency, he can, as long as there's liquidity, he can redeem Nusret coins and then sell him back to Nusret for $3 a coin. So until there is, you do arbitration. So basically, mutual liquidity between two currencies ensures one-to-one pegging because a one-to-one exchange rate, otherwise the lower cost currency will do a barter, will do arbitration and make profit until either we run out of liquidity, so we cannot do arbitration anymore, or until the price goes down to market value. Okay? So redemption results in pegging of mutually liquid currencies, induces one-to-one exchange rate among grassroots coins with mutual liquidity. So we see in here something very minimal, but imagine my village, Nataf, where I live in Israel, has 500 people. Okay, not a little bit less than New York, 500 people. And let's say, and it seems like a stupid thing, people changing notes, but let's say that every person in Nataf exchanges 100 coins with every other person. People in Nataf are nice, they more or less know each other, they may be willing to do this as a group experiment, and these are just, IOUs, pieces of paper, who cares? So they'll exchange 100 coins with each other. Think about it. Every person will have 50,000 IOUs from other people, okay? The exposure of every person to every other person is 0.2%, and overall there will be 25 million coins of liquidity in the village. Okay, so out of thin air, out of nothing, You suddenly have liquidity of 25 million coins in the village, simply by people willing to exchange personal IOUs with each other. Okay? Any questions before our gang of four finishes their task? Okay, you can take whatever you want from this. Thank you very much. Thank you. You did well. You can take both money and merchandise, whatever you want. So I must say, you can't imagine how many slides I've gone through, and animations, and explanations, and hand waving to explain this instead of having four people just trading. So, do you think you understand what's going on? Okay. So, success. Okay. So, let's talk about this Nataf. Every person means 50,000 of these, gives 100 coins to everybody else, every person prices goods and services. I'm going to do babysitting for you, I'm going to clean your yard, I'm going to pick your fruits, whatever, in their own currency. I price in UDI coins, etc., etc. Everyone exchanges 100 coins, so we have 25 millions. And coin redemption, all coins are pegged into one as long as residents are solvent. Okay, this goes to the question who asked what about market value of the coins. So as I said, as long as people are solvent, as long as there's mutual liquidity between two people, it's always one-to-one. But let's say I worked hard for many years, I'm tired, I want to be a beach bum for the next year, I'm not going to make any money, I'm going to go to the beach, spend my money, and etc. And I'm going to run out of other people's coins. Okay, so I have 50,000 coins out there to Nataf people, and I spent 50,000 coins that they gave me, and I have nothing left. What will happen? Well, people have UDI coins, but they cannot redeem them because I don't have any other people's coins left. So what will they do? They can always sell them in the free market. So they can sell, it's like bad debt. They can sell it at a discount. So they may sell it at a discount. But my brother, he knows I've taken a year off, and after I rest for a year, and I'm going to go back and work hard and make a lot of money. So he's going to buy at a discount all my bad debt because he has privileged information. He knows that I'm a good guy. And all the people who don't have patience for me and said, okay, he's lost it, he's stopped working, and I have nothing to do with his IOUs. So he's going to buy, say, at a 30% discount, 50, 90% discount. He's going to buy all my coins from other people. And when I come back after a year and start working, the value of my coins will be pegged again to one, and he will make a lot of money because he trusted me, and the other the people who didn't trust me sold my bad debt at a discount and lost money. Okay, so that's the question of market. So of course there is market value for anything, also for coins, but coins of people which are insolvent should be considered as bad debt, which have some discount depending on very intimate knowledge of the debtor. Okay, so since there are economists here, I want to stress, earlier versions of the paper, I call them sovereign cryptocurrencies, and then people got confused and said, well, these are not states, these are people, why do you call them sovereign? So now I call them grassroots cryptocurrencies, also because it's a grassroots system. But these are really essentially identical to fiat currencies of sovereign countries, okay? Why? Because they are debt notes without collateral. There's no collateral for US dollars, there's no collateral for Israeli shekel, just trust or mistrust in Israel or in the US. So standard notions of fiat currencies apply to individuals or to those who issue grassroots cryptocurrencies, and if there will be time, I'll also talk about how companies can issue them, etc., not only people. But foreign debt, okay, foreign debt in countries is very easy, but here it's the same. The foreign debt is how many UDI coins are out there compared to how many other people coins I own. So if there are more UDI coins out than other people coins I own, then I have a foreign debt, a positive foreign debt. If I have a net investment position which is larger than the number of UDI coins out there, then I'm a positive net investment position. These are standard terms from fiat currencies. Trade balance is how much my foreign debt changes over time. So if I buy more than I sell, okay? So this shows that really they are very much like fiat currencies. And velocity is less common, but it's also how fast my money moves around. If there's a lot of activity in the money, usually it's considered good for liquidity. Okay, these are all things that could be measured, by a piece of software looking at the transactions. Nobody has to think about it. So it's important. Grassroots cryptocurrencies are sort of reputation-based, but there is nothing. Reputation-based systems are like informal. How many people believe? They give you a high rank, a low rank. It's very subjective. Here, every measure I'm talking about is fully objective. There's a piece of software can look at the mathematical behavior of the system and analyze it mathematically. What is all the parameters I'm talking about. So I want to stress that socially, zero foreign debt and zero trade balance are best. So let's say in Nataf, okay, there is maybe a wine producer, and everybody wants wines. So they're excellent wines, so people pay a lot of money for this wine. But this guy just hogs the cash. He doesn't pay it out. He doesn't buy furniture from people in Nataf. He doesn't employ them as people in his vineyard. So he just hogs cash. So a cash hogger is bad for the community, okay? Because if you're a cash hogger, it means that other people are in negative balance. So you're not returning to the community the profits that you're making. Okay? So cash hogging is socially bad. It's not good to have a positive investment position. It's good to have zero investment position socially. And also trade balance. It's not good to have a positive trade balance because it means that other people are in negative trade balance, okay, necessarily. So it's good. Whatever you make, you spend. So maybe because you had this vineyard, you bought a lot of furniture from the garden. We have a good carpenters in Nataf, so maybe you bought furniture for your house and you have a beautiful house and you have beautiful furniture, which is fine. You have more assets, but you haven't hogged cash. So it's okay to be productive and have nice things. But in the social context I described, being rich is not bad. It's okay to make money and use it, but cash hogging is bad. So it's two different things, okay? Because this winemaker, if he paid all the money he made to the carpenters in Nataf to build him beautiful carpentry for his house, it's great, it's good. From accounting, also this is all new to me, but maybe some people who learned it in economy. So there are standard accounting measures used for measuring liquidity and credit worthiness, credit standing of corporations. They apply here immediately. Cash ratio, quick ratio, and current ratio. Cash ratio is just the ability of a bank or a person to withstand a bank run. In terms of grassroots cryptocurrencies, it's very simple. It just means that for every person, so let's say I hold Andy coins and Andy holds Udi coins. So I hold at least as many Andy coins as Andy holds Udi coins, which means that when Andy wants to redeem his Udi coins, he can redeem it against Andy coins that I own, and I can close the debt. So if for every, this is the ideal situation, if for every person that has Udi coins, I have the same amount, or at least the same amount of this other person's coins, I can withstand the bank run. Everybody redeems their coins, I can redeem them promptly, everything is fine. So this is the exact equivalent of a cash ratio in corporate finance. Quick ratio is more flexible. It means that I may not have enough Andy coins, but I have team coins, and team has Andy coins. So if to prepare for a bank run, I can do some finite amount of exchanges. I can redeem from team the Andy coins using team coins that I own and prepare for the bank run, and then I'm in good shape for the bank run. So that's the quick ratio that you have enough coins, but you may need to shift them around to address all your obligations. And the current ratio is the weakest of them all. It just means how many coins I have. So I may have my aging mother who is in a home for the elderly. She issued me 1 million coins. Okay, 1 million mother's coins, and I gave her 1 million Udi coins. So we're sort of, I have many, or maybe I gave her only 50 Udi coins, and I have 1 million mother coins. So on paper, I have lots of coins, but this is bad debt. I mean, there's nothing we can do with it. So the current ratio includes also bad debt, and that's just means that the number of coins I have is larger than the number of coins I've issued, but the coins I have could be bad debt of someone. Okay. So the whole point of this is that very basic and standard measures of fiat currencies and corporate finance apply as is to grassroots cryptocurrencies. So even though they seem kind of strange, they fit right into the mold of standard finance theory. Okay? Let's say the people in Nataf, these 500 people I mentioned in my village, they're tired of paying Udi coins, Joe coins, Andy coins, etc. Say, okay, enough of that bullshit. Let's have a Nataf coin, okay? Coin of the village. So they come together. We're a democratic village. We have an elected board. So we have a meeting and decide that we want to open a Nataf Bank. And the Nataf Bank will issue Nataf coins, and we'll all trade in Nataf coins instead of Udi coins, Joe coins. Very complicated. Okay. So what's happening? How does it work? Anybody can issue grassroots coins, including a new legal entity which we form called Nataf Bank. They have a multi-signature account. Maybe 3 board members can sign every transaction, and it operates. So this does not need smart contract or anything. Governance is off-chain. It's just a multi-signature account, similar to all the accounts that we have in Nataf or here, signed by whoever is legally authorized to sign on behalf of Nataf. Okay? So no consensus, no smart contract, nothing. Just a multi-signature account. Behind it stands the legal entity, which is the board of Nataf. And they decide to open a mutual line of credit of 100 Nataf coins with every resident who agrees to accept Nataf coins in addition to personal coins. So the bank gives everybody, including me, 1,000 Nataf coins, and in return, I give them 1,000 Udi coins. Okay? So now every resident in Nataf has 50,000 other people's coins from inside Nataf, and 1,000 Nataf coins, and everybody agrees to price their goods and services not only in their personal coins, but also in Nataf coins. So if someone wants me to clean the garden or babysit, they can pay me in Nataf coins, not only in Udi coins, as we did until now. Okay, so now life is simple. Yes?
How does intergenerational stuff work?
Say it again?
How does it work intergenerationally in this model? So when I'm born, I get coins of every other person on Earth? Like when I'm born, what happens?
When you're what, sorry?
Born.
Oh, no, nothing happens. This was a fictitious mathematical example of 500 people doing this. But in real life, you'll get credit, you'll open mutual line of credit like here, with your friends, with your family, with your blood brothers. And if they want to give you credit, fine. If they don't, they don't. So there's nothing that is given to you automatically. You have to earn. The trust of other people who are willing to open a mutual line of credit between you and them. So your mother will give you 100 mother coins, and you give her 100 of your personal coins. And your brother and your friends and your siblings, and maybe you'll have a few 100 or 1,000 coins of other people.
So it's like banking in the US in the 1800s, where there's like a community bank that issues like community bank like script basically, and you trade with the bank back and forth like a star graph.
Yes, but the community has to decide actively to open credit to everybody or to whom. And here it might have been confusing, but it's a special case of 500 people, not a million people. 500 people who know and trust each other more or less. I know most of the people in Nataf, and let's say we democratically agree to do that, and agree that the bank will open this line of credit. Okay, so it's a bit artificial, but let's suspend your disbelief a couple of minutes, and you'll see how this pans out. Okay, in my chat, 2 questions. Nataf coins wouldn't be considered a grassroots currency, correct? No. Grassroots, the question is whether Nataf coins are grassroots or not. Grassroots is a property of a system, okay? The system is grassroots, and one of the entities in the grassroots cryptocurrency worldwide is a multi-signature account opened by Nataf, and it participates in the grassroots economy. The fact that behind, we should distinguish between on-chain and off-chain. If you remember, I didn't talk about it, but the diagram was divided into on-chain and off-chain. Off-chain, of course, there is a complicated process of the Nataf community meeting and debating and deciding to appoint the board to open a bank account and the board makes a resolution which is signed by the attorney that they're authorized to open a bank account. Maybe there are regulatory restrictions that they have to fulfill. I don't know. At the end of the day, they open a multi-sig account within the system, which is no different from a single signature account. And they start issuing Nataf coins. That's all. So there's nothing non-grassroots about what's happening on-chain. We'll talk later if there's time. There won't be. About on-chain governance, and this is a whole new area, a whole big area that needs to be addressed, but it's not necessary for a grassroots crypto economy. Here there's grassroots consensus, digital social contracts, which are the equivalent of smart contracts, but I'll explain maybe if there's time what they are, and grassroots community banks, grassroots cooperatives, etc., all on-chain. Okay? And grassroots consensus is actually, this is sort of incorrect because this reference is not yet grassroots, and actually the goal, one of the goals of Andy and I, and maybe Oded, our collaborator, is to devise such a protocol. Okay, this protocol does not exist yet. Okay, grassroots consensus, but it will be. And on top of that, digital social contracts are like smart contracts, except they are operated, the consensus protocol is operated by the people who are parties to the contract, not by third-party miners. So the answer is that you can do all these grassroots, but what I'm talking about is actually this side, just grassroots cryptocurrencies, grassroots digital economy, where all the governance is happening off-chain. Okay? Okay, so there are very delicate things happening here. Let me try to explain. First of all, it's a puzzlement. Again, it seems that we have something out of nothing. Suddenly we have liquidity, suddenly we have a bank, suddenly we have money. You know, what's the collateral when the Nataf Bank gives me 1,000 coins, Nataf coins? What is the collateral? I gave him UDI coins, but what's UDI coins? It's just these pieces of paper. So what is the collateral of the bank? Okay. The answer is that the collateral of the bank is the 50,000 other people coins that I own. Because if the bank loses trust in me or sees that I go to the beach, stop working, they have 1,000 UDI coins. But they see Andy is hardworking and team is hardworking and they come to the office every morning. They say, okay, I want to decrease my exposure to UDI and increase my exposure to Andy and team so they can redeem UDI coins against the 100 Andy coins that I own and against the 100 team coins that I own. Okay, so the bank, without decreasing my credit line, the bank can still keep 1,000, allow me a credit line of 1,000 coins, but they can easily shift the risk by reducing their exposure to me and increasing exposure to other people in the community, who are the bank deems, the bank, which is the Nataf community, so they all gossip and they all know what's going on, who is working, who is not working. They can shift their exposure accordingly. Yes?
So bank is basically doing like a normalization across the whole society. So now I no longer need to trust individual people. As long as I trust the whole society as a whole that overall it will make progress,
yes,
it will work, then I will be happy to trust the coin.
Yes, except that I do not necessarily imagine a huge bank for the whole society, but a growing kind of, let's look at this example. Next door to Nataf, there is a beautiful village, Abu Ghosh. It's an Arab village, which we're in very good relationships, and all the shopping and dining and all is happening there because we have nothing. We just have good people and nice view, but no shops and one restaurant, but that's all. So there's a lot of commerce, and we actually, Nataf, Abu Ghosh people are employed in Nataf, etc. So there's commerce between Nataf and Abu Ghosh. So how can we trade with Abu Ghosh? Well, let's say Abu Ghosh also has an Abu Ghosh coin, and Nataf and Abu Ghosh trust each other enough that they open a mutual line of credit between the banks. So the Nataf Bank gives 1,000 Nataf coins to Abu Ghosh Bank, and the Abu Ghosh Bank gives 100,000 Abu Ghosh coins to Nataf. So I can either pay to the merchant in Abu Ghosh with Nataf coins, and he can go and redeem them in the bank, or I can redeem from my bank Abu Ghosh coins and go to Abu Ghosh and pay the merchant in Abu Ghosh with Abu Ghosh coins. And then you can have, there's this idea of optimal currency areas, there's a whole research on that, so you can have eventually federal level, state level cryptocurrencies which are supported by the local banks with credit lines, et cetera, et cetera. So that's sort of the general idea. Okay, much more to discuss. I will not discuss. Corporate currencies. Okay, any question before I talk about corporate currencies? Yes.
So you mentioned like you can take this to the next step and like you can have federal level currencies. So then if you have that happen, at what point does the local currency kind of become in a sense of obsolete? So people will just say, okay, why do I care about like 500 different currencies? I can just take the federal currency now. And then you're back to just federally issued.
You're not back to that because remember that the local currencies are always the cushion and the collateral. For every level uses the currency below it as collateral. And if the state level loses trust in the liquidity of a certain community, they can stop, they can decrease their exposure to that community and reduce their liquidity and stuff like that. So it's not just, okay, now everybody has federal currency coins. There's a lot of mutual support and collateralizations happening at all levels to make this happen.
So if I understand correctly, you're saying like everyone can trade only in federal currency, but it's still backed by the grassroots.
And and remember that the key point here is that every two currencies for which there is mutual liquidity are traded one-to-one. So it's not that the federal coins will be worth more. They'll be worth one-to-one with anybody's Joe and Jim coin. Okay? All coins will be traded one-to-one as long as there's liquidity. Okay? But one of the, again, long-term ambitious endings of this is that there'll also be, that this could serve as a federal level central bank digital currency. And the reason why it could be more useful than just a dollar-based currency is because it can allow surgical intervention by the federal government. The way, let's say there is a city or state in disaster. Okay, we declare a disaster zone. You don't need to give them cash. You can just open a mutual credit line. So you take, X million Arizona coins and give Arizona X million federal coins. And when Arizona recovers, I just said there are not too many disasters in Arizona, but I said when Arizona recovers, then the government can redeem the Arizona coins and reduce the exposure to or the liquidity given to Arizona. So you can have, or you can give it to individual companies or even individual people, veterans, whatever. But these are just liquidity. It's not cash. It's not cash allowance. It's liquidity against other people by opening a mutual credit line. Anyway, that's sort of a bit far-reaching. But let's talk about corporate currencies. So any cooperative can form without initial capital or bank credit within this system. For example, by opening mutual credit lines with the employees, customers, suppliers, and start with, if they trust, if the customers, suppliers, and employees trust me and believe I'm a good entrepreneur, they may be willing to open a mutual credit line with me, maybe with some discount, so that they can make a profit if I'm liquid for a long time, and allow a company to form without outside investors or external bank credit. I will not, it's easy to implement universal basic income in this. I will not get into this. We discussed several central bank sovereign cryptocurrencies. Okay, implementation. As I said, it's much simpler and faster than mainstream cryptocurrency to run on smartphones, truly decentralized. We need only these, there are a couple of papers. As I said, we need only dissemination and convocation exclusion. We don't need even supermajorities. So there are lots of papers about efficient payment systems based on supermajority approval of some form. For this, basically every entity that issues a cryptocurrency can resolve double spend. So there's no supermajority. And in general, in a grassroots system, there's no majorities because you don't know who, it's permissionless. You don't know who's participating. It's open-ended. Okay, so we have a few more minutes for questions. What are you pointing at? A question in the chat? Okay, let's open the chat. It seems that the protocol allows Nataf coin to be sold for less than one metacoin if it's treated as an asset, but it seems that it cannot be sold for more than one metacoin by the redemption law. Is that right? Okay, so the answer is that there's no reason as long as there's liquidity, there's no reason to pay more than one for other people's coin, because you can just, through redemption, get them at the price of one. Of course, if there is someone who is insolvent and people cannot redeem their coins, then they may be incentivized to sell them in the open market at a discount. But I disagree with the claim that it says here that for some reason Nataf coin should be sold in less than one. Nataf, the theorem that I said before is that every two coins, whether it's personal, corporate, bank, government, federal, any two coins with mutual liquidity will be traded at a one-to-one exchange rate. Otherwise, people will make money on arbitrage until either there's no liquidity or they equalize in value. Okay, so as long as there's liquidity, it's one-to-one. Yes?
What's the mechanism for civil resistance here? Is this kind of proof of personhood or identity based?
Excellent question, because it all started from civil resilience. I mean, the motivation for this was civil resilience, and I'll try to explain why. I mentioned in our secret meeting yesterday with the interns that one of our early works is about civil resilient community formation. And the civil resilient community formation was based on mutual sureties between people which are backed by money. But we didn't give an answer where this money comes from. But if we want a community to grow grassroots, it cannot be assumed that they have outside money. We cannot assume they have Ethereum or dollars or anything. They're just people, at most with smartphones, okay? That's all. So this gives an answer. The mutual credit lines that I discussed are precisely the mutual sureties, because I will give someone a credit line, I will give someone a credit and take their IOUs and give them my IOUs only if I trust them that they are real people, that they're not hiding assets, et cetera, et cetera. So the mutual credit lines are these mutual sureties that are needed to form a civil resilient community. So the answer is, we have a solution for civil resilient community growth in that 2 years old paper or 3 years old paper. It depends on mutual sureties. And now we have a solution, a grassroots solution of how to establish these mutual sureties through mutual credit lines of personal cryptocurrencies. Because if you hold my coins and it turns out that I'm a Sybil, I don't exist, or I have multiple identities, then the coins you hold worth nothing. And that's what the algorithm requires. It requires that if you support a Sybil and the entity is discovered to be a Sybil, then you lose your money. So the mutual credit lines satisfy that, because if you give credit to a Sybil, it turns out to be worth nothing. And one more thing, which is kind of intricate but important, if I happen to maintain two identities, okay, I had a half an hour talk this morning with Andy about that until we resolved it, so I'll try to summarize it in 2 minutes. If I have two identities, my Israeli identity and my New York identity, okay? And I exchange currencies and mutual credit lines with my family and friends in Israel, and I come to here and say, hey, here's my identity, let's have a credit line. But let's say I earn money here and I don't earn any money in Israel. But I have expenses, I have an apartment there, I have to pay taxes, utilities, whatever. So suddenly my assets in Israel go down until I have no assets left. So all my creditors there cannot redeem their currency. But I'm here, I get my salary from a16z, I'm happy, I have lots of money. So what did I do? I screwed my family and my friends by creating two identities and hiding assets from my creditors. So basically, having two identities which are independent is essentially hiding assets from creditors, but these are not anonymous creditors. Who will give you a mutual credit line? It's your family, it's your friends, it's your blood brothers, it's your people who trust you. So normal people will not screw their family and friends by hiding assets from them when they give them credit. So that's sort of a long answer for the civil resilience.
Okay. I mean, at some level, that is almost outsourcing the civil detection to individuals, right?
Yes.
And I mean, so the magic there, I guess, is like you rely on people to do civil identification kind of locally.
Yes.
Right, but then your techniques kind of show you get a global notion of civil resistance then, right?
Think about the Nataf Bank, okay? What does it mean that Nataf Bank issues credit to all Nataf members? It means that he sees that every Nataf member has credit from their neighbors, so they know that they don't hold, they believe they don't hold other Sybil accounts which hide these assets, because, I mean, it's a very tight community, and people are embarrassed to do much more minor things than, screw their neighbors for credit. So it will not happen. And so the Nataf Bank, the fact that everyone has 100 coins from everyone else, is the best Sybil resilience protection the bank has. Okay, so the bank doesn't have to do identity checks and credits and everything, and blah, blah. It just say, okay, 499 people say that you are you. It's fine.
And then sort of a similar question. So as far as the double spend, kind of, there again.
Yeah, I didn't speak about it, but it's very simple.
So basically, in effect, the issuer of the coin is very motivated to detect double spends of their own currency. That's kind of what it is, right?
He's zero motivated.
Okay.
Because I can print, as UDI, I can print as many UDI coins as I want. So I'm much better off printing twice the amount of currency rather than being double spending my own currency and being detected as a jerk, and people, not willing to deal with me anymore, dumping my currency and etc. So
you're saying the detection happens off-chain?
No, on-chain.
Okay.
Grassroots dissemination at this level, even for social networking, it does not prevent double spend, but it ensures detection of double spend. Okay, grassroots dissemination ensures that eventually, under certain conditions, equivocations will be detected. Now, here, if we assume that people don't double spend their own coins, and they should never do that, because it will be detected and their reputation will be tarnished forever and ever and ever. It's like a death sentence, It's not something you cannot recover from. If you're a double spender, you as an individual, UDI is a double spender, there's no way I can erase that record forever and ever. So people will think 100 times before they double spend their own money or double spend at all. But the guarantee for double spend in UDI coins is the fact that UDI is not double spending, because I will approve any transaction in my coins, and I will never, technically, if you remember the Blockley's talk, to approve a double spend, you have to approve an equivocation, you have to equivocate yourself. So if I want to approve, first of all, there's no reason I should, if you're double spending my money, and you come to me and say, look, I double spent your money because I need it, help me, approve this. I'd say, here, take more UDI coins. It's much cheaper for me to give you more UDI coins than to approve a double spend in UDI coins. So even if you put a gun in my hand and say, approve my double spend, I say, okay, take more money, take more UDI money. I don't want to approve your double spend, I'll just give you more money. My UDI, it's IOUs. So to approve your double spend in UDI coins, I need to equivocate myself, which I will never do. I'd rather give you more money than equivocate. So other people who want to know that transactions in UDI coins are okay, they just look that I approve them, and that's it. So once I approve them, and if you double spend, I will approve one transaction, and when I get the second transaction, I will not approve it. That's it. Yeah.
So is it like a fair understanding to say that?
Is it like what, sorry?
Is it a fair understanding to say that here the Sybil resistance mechanism is reputation, but now in a society, it's like impossible to expect me to have a reputation score for everyone else, like let's say in New York City. But we resolve this problem by having a hierarchical reputation system, because it's much more reasonable for me to have a reputation score for like the people in the office, and then now it's more reasonable for different offices to have reputation scores for each other. And so
it's actually simpler. It's much simpler. Let me tell you why. First of all, you need reputation only of someone you own, you give credit to. Why would you give credit to anonymous people? You give credit only to people you know and love and want to help, or want to have mutual help. So you will never give credit to people that you need to go to some credit scoring society, or you give credit to your social and family and work circle. But let's say you want to buy bananas from the only banana merchant in town. To do that, you need let's say if there's no bank coins, you need the banana merchant coins. So you need to hold his coins for at least a few seconds. You need to gain his coins and then buy bananas from him. So you don't care about his reputation. All you care about is that you got good banana coin and then paid it to the banana person to get bananas. That's all. You don't care about the reputation of the banana person as a currency. Only you care about him as a merchant. Like in Amazon, you always pay merchants before you get the merchandise. You always, everywhere. So you pay the merchant, the banana merchant, banana coins. The only thing you care about is that the banana coins you got are good coins, and there are standard ways to verify it. And then you get the bananas, and that's it. You don't have to invest in banana coins if you don't know the merchant and you don't care for him, because it's like investing in banana coins is giving the banana merchant credit. Why would you give him credit? Okay? Yeah.
What is the process for when like a new person comes into a different community? So like, let's say I was in community A and I have like a bunch of coins there with people there, and like I'm going to a different community that was completely disconnected from my previous community. Like, how do I get integrated into this new community with like a bunch of coins I have from other people?
I'm not sure I mentioned this, but there are a couple of solutions, but I think the name is Hawala. I got the name wrong. There is this network, mostly in the Muslim world, of credit transfer, where if you have reputation in one community, you can, maybe your family can give them some money, and then they transfer it to the local community. So there are ways in which you can use established credit remotely to get credit locally as a starter through various chains. Another example is the Rothschild. You know, he has sons, one son here, one son there, and he told me this is good credit. Give him, you know, so your family can give this Rothschild son money, and this other son will give you money, which is the same idea, more or less. You know, Rothschild started by having his sons dispersed in the capitals of Europe, and he did all this arbitrage. That's how he got rich. And then you establish local connections and get credit from locally, from your friends, and from a new friend. You should make new friends and have mutual credit there. But it's not, yeah, that's it. Okay. Thank you very much.